I have no idea how I've done this, but somehow I completely forgot that pale oak leaves existed. But, you know, huge shout out to jcrim88 for reminding me. I think these on all of the dead trees that we built last time are gonna look really, really nice. It's also turning nighttime, so you can get the full vibe of this area. I'm gonna make it even better by turning on these spooky shaders. Oh man, that's dark. That is so dark for you guys for sure. But dude, this place looks so cool with these shaders turned on. I'm gonna sleep just because this is definitely like incredibly dark. Even when it's not nighttime, these shaders still make it pretty dark out. Yeah, so this is like the morning with these shaders on. Oh, they look so cool. Welcome back here to my hardcore world. I hope you guys are all having a fantastic day. Last time we built this behemoth of a mansion. It took me so long, but we did it. Look at it. It's great. It's probably the best thing I've ever made. Probably the best thing I'm ever going to make. But you guys were incredibly supportive in the comments of last time, like, you know, supporting this build, and I really do appreciate it. I spent so much time on this thing, so it actually feels really good that it was well received. Today, though, I don't really have a plan. I have no idea what I want to do. I just kind of wanted to hop back on the world and start recording again. I do want to do some fishing here, just to try to fish up a mending book. And then I feel like after that, I'll probably figure out whatever I want to build for the episode. But I think these trees are looking a little bit better with the pale oak. The comment also mentions putting some pale moss underneath, like the hanging moss underneath. And I do want to do that, I just don't have any. So, I'll come back to it. I just still can't get over how cool this thing looks from all the way over here. I'm so happy that I can see it from my starter base. Like I mentioned though, I'm gonna spend some time trying to fish up a mending book. I think I'll go either until like day 500 or until I just get super bored. But whatever happens first. Dude, no way. We actually just straight up got a mending book. I've only been fishing for like 2 days. I also got this pretty decent bow, but I think the bow I have is just better. I mean, I can add punch 1 to mine, but I'm not really concerned about that. I cannot believe we have a mending book. I think I'm going to continue fishing. To put mending on my axe, which is the thing I actually really want to put it on, I need 33 levels, and I'm level 26. This axe has gotten so expensive to repair, and I definitely do want to repair it, so I feel like mending on that is just a no-brainer. Alright, I did just get to level 30 here, and before I keep going on, I actually think I'm going to enchant something first. And then after this, I'll get up to level 33 and put mending on my axe. I just wanted to get some enchantment out of this first. And the thing I'm going to enchant is just going to be my helmet. It's the only piece of armor that is guaranteed protection 4. And it's respiration 3, unbreaking 3 as well, so that's a really good helmet. Wait, I hear a wandering trader. Where are you? We got some slime balls. I mean, that's cool, I guess. Might as well trade with him for a few things. I'll take the slime balls. I'm gonna grab a couple hay bales and then trade these with the trader to get some emeralds and then use those emeralds to get the slime balls. But you only give me 2 of those? Why? That's so cheap. I don't think there's anything else that I'm gonna want to buy. I could buy this tube coral block, but I don't think I care enough about it. And I guess I might as well get some more emeralds out of him. Let me bake some potatoes. This guy really does not have much stock. He only gave me 2 more emeralds for the baked potatoes as well. Bought some of these open eye blossoms as well. I don't really know why. I don't need them. But I definitely never trade with wandering traders, so I don't know. I kind of felt like actually making a couple deals. I'm going to fish into day 480, and then I think I'm going to call it for fishing for this episode. Oh, and it's raining. This is actually perfect. But I've thought of the actual concept of this video now. I feel like most creators probably have, like, the video concept completely figured out before they start recording. I kind of just hit record and just go from there. There's some times where I have everything completely figured out. Like last episode, for example, I knew I wanted to build a spooky mansion in 7 days, like before I even clicked record. But then there's episodes like this where I just want to start doing something. Anyway, with that ramble out of the way, my idea for this video is to kind of do like a completely opposite video from my last one. So last episode, I spent almost 200 days building something in this world. And today, I want to see what I could get built in only 20 days. That's still a significant amount of time to actually get something built, but it's not long enough for me to build something huge. And there's just way too many random mobs out here, so I'm going to go out in the middle of the lake, and hopefully it's a little bit safer to fish out here. But this idea actually kind of works out perfectly for me, because if you've been a long-term viewer, you might know this, but I like releasing like full movies in 500-day increments in my worlds. So the first one here would be for day 500, obviously. And if I can finish this episode at exactly day 500, that'll segue into the movie perfectly. And I just cannot get away from these drowned. They're so annoying. I really want to fish through this night, but they're just making it difficult. Let me go ahead then and avoid these drowned for a night and finish off this night of fishing. And I can come back to plan out the build for today. It's day 480 now. Let's put back the fishing rod. The only other real interesting thing I got overnight was this Unbreaking 3 mending fishing rod. I mean, I guess that's kind of cool, but not super useful to me at the moment. And I know I'm level 30 and not level 33, so I can't put mending on my axe just yet, but that's alright. Just whenever I hit level 33, I'll go ahead and do that. I don't really think I'm going to need my axe too much for this build anyway, but I will enchant something else. Just to use these 30 levels, why not? And that next thing I'm going to enchant is just going to be a shovel. Efficiency 4, Unbreaking 3. The reason why I wanted to do that is because I hate having fortune on a shovel. I like actually getting the gravel whenever I mine it. I hate that fortune gives you all flint. So that just kind of felt like it made the most sense there. Let me run back to my starter house though. Grab a couple materials out of some chests, and then we can kind of start mapping out what I have in mind for today. Obviously, whatever I decide to build today, I can't make it too big, right? I do only have 20 days to actually construct this. And my nether portal is still just sitting like this. I feel like I should do something about this. And I feel like another portal transformation shouldn't take me too long, so that's going to be the point of today's video. Now, this area over here, let me just run over there. It looks pretty cool, especially from our starter house. So this area right here, right where I'm standing, let me pop into free cam and fly back a little bit just so you can kind of get the bigger picture. But this terrain looks kind of cool. There's like this interesting like natural archway, and then there's the platform that I'm standing on. And I feel like just for this view right here, just a big like monolithic stone or something right there could look really, really cool. And this actually fits with the future pathway that I want. Oh, it stopped raining. That's nice. But connecting to the haunted mansion from last time, I'm going to have a huge sprawling pathway that comes all the way through this area and connects up over here somewhere, probably close to the enchanting tower. So then we could pretty easily have a branch that kind of just walks up here onto this platform that I'm standing on currently, where we can access the nether portal. So I feel like this kind of fits with some of the future plans that I have. And also just will make for a really cool view from the starter house and like the fishing dock and whatnot. So let me flatten off this platform a little bit and let me get rid of all of the flowers and the different pieces of grass. I'm already putting this shovel to very good use. But this is probably like all of the terraforming that I'm gonna have to do for right now. We might have to like pretty up this area at the end, but at least to start building, this should be plenty of space. You just clear up this little bit of foliage. I now have a space that is this large. I want this up on some type of a platform. And since I do have a limited amount of time, I'm going to do something that I don't typically do, and I'm going to try to work through the night here. I should definitely go grab some torches, though, and light up this area, because that's going to probably make the viewing experience a lot better for you guys. So let me go do that before I actually start working on the platform. I definitely do not want to get too sidetracked with this, but there is a zombie villager over here. I'm going to save him. Okay, there we go. He's in a boat now, so he should be saved. I just have to put a little platform above him. All right, this guy's saved now, so I'll convert him at some point. All right, so something about this size might work out kind of well. I want the actual nether portal to be like in the middle of this entire platform. So maybe like here-ish. Let me connect this up and then take a step back just to see how big this nether portal is going to be. Yeah, that's not bad. I think I might go a little bit taller. So like 4 more blocks up here maybe. And actually the best viewing spot for this is probably going to be the dock. So let me put a free camera over here. Yeah, like this perspective is probably going to be the most valuable. So now if I just hit F4 and 1, I can just instantly teleport over there. Cool. All right, so I think that's probably a pretty good height for the nether portal. Now, of course, this is going to be a rock. Like, this is all going to be covered. So let me get this into a good shape. And I'm just going to do that with regular, just full blocks of stone. I will definitely come back through and add some, like, stairs, slabs, walls, all that kind of stuff and of course texture. But let me just go through with just this block for right now, just to get something that looks good. But this is exactly why FreeCam is such a valuable mod, because instead of like placing down a bunch of blocks and then actually manually having to go over there, I could just do this. It's so much easier. It saves me so much time. All right, so from the front and the back, I think this thing looks pretty good. It looks like kind of the shape I want. Obviously, I'm gonna get the shape to look even better when I add in some like walls and slabs and whatnot. But I do think this thing is ready just for some light texturing. I didn't bring over too many materials to texture with, but this should be enough to at least get started. I do actually have a new block that I'm gonna work in here, and that is this light gray wool. So I'm gonna use this light gray wool as the brightest part of the rock. Normally I use andesite to be the complete highlight, but I'm just gonna go a step further here. Light gray wool, a little bit lighter than andesite, and it blends in really nicely. So that'll mainly be at the top, like where the sun is actually hitting this thing. Then in order to get darker, gonna use a little bit of tuff. I might blend in a bit of cobblestone as well to kind of bridge that gap a little bit better. I just only have, I think 4 cobblestone right now. But to get a little darker, we're gonna go to some tuff and then eventually some deep slate. The top texture of deep slate looks very nice next to some tuff. And then of course I also have the usual moss that I'm gonna use. Gonna work in a little bit of mossy cobblestone and some mossy stone bricks as well. Then of course we have some mud. Not gonna use too much of this stuff, but just in a very small amount, this looks really good with some stone. So those are the texturing techniques that I'm gonna use for this. Let me go ahead and break this in everywhere. This actually shouldn't take long because obviously this thing is really not that big. A lot of the rock is now textured. I think this is probably going to be the final texturing. I might change like a block or two here and there, but I think this thing looks good, especially from a distance. Now I just have to go through and shape this thing out a little bit better. And to do that, let me run back to the mining building, and I'm gonna grab up all of like the slabs and the walls and stairs and stuff that I already have crafted, just to try to save some materials here. There's honestly not too much like rhyme or reason to what I'm doing here. I'm kind of just throwing in these random other blocks like the walls, the stairs, and the slabs and whatnot, just wherever I feel like one fits. And the only like real strategy that I'm keeping here is that I'm just making sure that I'm using like the same blocks for the walls and the slabs that I'm getting rid of. So like for example, if I wanted to replace this block here, I would just make sure it was a tough block that I put back down again. All right, I think this thing is actually really close to being finished. I like the shape. I like all the additional blocks that I just added. The texturing still looks good in my opinion. All that I really need to do is just put the actual nether portal around the whole thing. Let me go get a little bit more obsidian. I don't know how much more I'm going to need. I think I have probably like 5 blocks in my house, but I'm gonna need a bit more than that. I now have a fully completed nether portal. It hasn't been lit yet, obviously, but that will work. We can actually get to the nether with this. I do want to get rid of some of the grass here on the outside and probably replace this maybe with a little bit more stone, just to kind of texture up the ground here a little bit better. And then I think some coarse dirt would also look really nice. As you get closer to the portal here, the ground is now looking nice and textured. I do want to put a little bit of coarse dirt around this. I just don't have any. There's a chance I might have like half a stack at my house. I actually have more coarse dirt than I was expecting. I have a stack in 23. That's probably enough for what I need. And that thing actually looks really cool from over here, man. That adds so well to the view when you just look off in this direction. That thing's sick. Let me throw in this coarse dirt here. And then honestly, I was thinking that we could kind of round out the rest of these days until day 500, just finishing off the pathway that I started last episode, connecting up to the mansion. It might take a while, but with this new shovel, wherever it went, there it is. But with this new shovel, and honestly my other shovel that I have, I should be able to insta-mine all of the dirt, all of the grass, and carve out a massive pathway going back into the starter house. I feel like I could probably get that done before day 500. But before I do anything, obviously, let me just put a little bit of coarse dirt here on the boundary. I've said this before, but I just swear every time I start recording again, it is raining. I don't know how this continuously happens. but I'm pretty sure this thing is like entirely done. The last few things I want to add are all just going to be like around the monolith here, but like the structure itself I think is done. I do have to light this portal though, so let's go ahead and do that. And that looks honestly just so cool. Like huge nether portals look awesome in this game. Also gonna plop down a chest right here, just keep a couple like nether essentials, a piece of gold armor, flint and steel, you know, just what you kind of need whenever you go into the nether. And then the rest of my inventory is filled with the path materials that I'm gonna use, but these bundles are filled with a bunch of other things, like sunflowers and dandelions. I'm gonna just put a couple of these around here. These were just completely on this area before I built anything, so I feel like I should probably put them back. And I did also bring some bone meal with me, so I can go ahead and get more of these. Now, I like pairing the big flowers in the game with a bunch of the little flowers of the same color. I think it just looks way better this way. If you have too many of the taller flowers in a row, I just think it gets a little bit too repetitive. I'm gonna use these 7 like eye blossom flowers as well. Why not? These things look really cool. And I think that's going to be all of the flowers that we put on this area. I do actually want to run through and bone meal a little bit of this grass, or even just like harvest up some grass myself and sprinkle it in. And I need iron to make a couple lanterns anyway, so let's make a trip over to the mine building. I can craft up some shears and also a couple soul lanterns, because it is a nether build after all. All right, that is a stack of short grass placed down. And you really can't tell the difference whenever, you know, you place down short grass, but I do think it definitely helps. And then let me just go through and add a few soul lanterns on top of some of these walls. And especially these ones that are dangling down in the middle. Yeah, it looks really cool. But with that, this build should be done. It's nothing special. It really didn't take me that long. But I think it looks really good. It's definitely better than whatever it was before. You know, the nether portal that was just next to the enchanting tower. This is a massive improvement. But now for the last 10 days here before day 500, I'm going to try to finish this pathway, connecting up the mansion from last episode and my starter area. And just really quickly, I want to show how I designed this pathway. It's pretty simple, but I don't actually think I pointed it out last episode, so I want to go over it here. Now, normally when I make paths, I either use just like coarse dirt or path block or some combination of the two of those. This one's entirely different, and I think it suits this area super well, but just in general, I think this is just a cool pathway design. So we got some deep slate, we got some tuff, we got some cobblestone, and just a little bit of regular stone peeking in. And this pathway is actually really easy to make. So the innermost like 3 blocks or so, I made all out of deep slate. And just to kind of change up the texturing, I was just kind of moving around the orientation. Because obviously, if you silk touch up the deep slate, each side has like a different texture, you know? So you can get some pretty decent looking texture variation just only using deep slate. And then once I put in enough deep slate that I was happy with, I would follow that up with some tuff. So everything that's touching a part of the deep slate, I'll just put a little tuff outline on there. And then I will do that exact same thing with cobblestone. So then everything that's touching the tuff, I will put a cobblestone block. And then just every so often I was breaking in some of this stone. I wasn't doing it everywhere. Like as you can see, the stone isn't completely bordering the path. But I think in just a couple different spots, it definitely helps. And that's the final result. You just get a nice little gradient going inwards with the center of the path being the darkest. And I think it looks really, really good, especially from far away. If I peel all the way back to like here. Yeah, that pathway looks sick. Huge fan of that. So I'm going to connect this all the way over to like the barn area. Well, at least I'm going to see how far I can get in the next 10 Minecraft days. I wonder if I'll be able to complete this. Alright, so I at least mapped out the pathway for the most part. As you can see, it does go all the way over there. I have run out of deep slate, though, which is kind of unfortunate. And you can see I still have a couple more gaps to fill in. There's that little stretch. There's a stretch down there. And a stretch over there in the woods. And I honestly don't have all that many tough slabs or stone slabs, and especially cobblestone slabs. So I think I'll probably spend the next like 2-ish days and nights as well. Just underground collecting up some stones. I really shouldn't need too much more deep slate. The big one's gonna be, I think, the tough and the cobblestone. The ordinary stone I'm not gonna need to gather because I have a ton left still here. But yeah, this is my tough chest. It's completely empty. This is my cobblestone chest. It's empty. And this is my deep slate chest, along with a couple stacks of dirt I just kind of threw in there. So these are all empty. Let me go replenish these stones, and then I'll be back to continue working on the path. I've just finished gathering up some stones, and I'm actually really excited about this. I have always wanted one of these horses. How do I do this? Can I just kill the skeletons? I guess I must have thunderstormed at some point. No! No! Why did you kill the horse, man? I wanted to save as many as possible. We do have 2. We have 2 of these guys. Are they automatically tamed? I think they are. Okay, hold on. I gotta act quick. Let me put them in the stable. I have actually always wanted one of these horses in one of my Minecraft worlds. I don't think I've ever had one. All right, I only have 1 saddle, but it's fine because I can just lead the other one. Let's go. Yes, we got him. All right, you're gonna hang out right next to Lamp. And I don't think you can get out of here. Okay, you can't. So I should be able to leave those trapdoors down, much like I did with Gravy, to stop all of the jumping. Let me grab this saddle, and then I'll move the other one into the other stable. All right, let's go, dude. That's sick. We have 2 skeleton horses now. That definitely means I'm gonna need some name suggestions. But man, I'm so happy to have these guys. I do now have a lot more deep slate, cobblestone, and tough, so I should have enough materials to finish off this pathway. Hopefully I have the time. It is now day 500, and I did not completely finish the pathway. But I did get very close, so I think I'm going to spend the rest of day 500 here working on this pathway. I should be able to get it pretty much finished by then, so I'll count that as a win. I want to show you guys how far I made it, but I just want to make sure there's no creepers around me looking to end this series. So I got all of the deep slate down. I'm just running back through and adding the rest of the texturing, but it looks really good, actually. Man, I haven't peeled back yet. This thing looks so cool. I should be able to get this finished, like I said, at the end of this day here, but I will see you guys probably at the night of day 500. There it is. That's the sun rising on day 501. I did not finish the pathway in time. I actually had to go gather a little bit more tough, so that kind of stalled me out there. But I do think I'm still just going to finish this. If I finish on day like 501, 502, that's all right with me. Plus, this will be a lot better for the world download, so I think it's definitely worth it to do. It is now day 502, and I think this pathway is pretty much completely done. I say pretty much because there are some spots that are floating that I'll definitely have to fix later. I just don't really know how the terrain's gonna go just yet, so I'm not gonna worry about that right now. But just popping into FreeCam to show this thing in its entirety, we now have a fully connected pathway from the mansion that also branches off to the new Nether portal, and then goes all the way around this plains biome close to the village and splits off around the barn down there. I'm so happy that this is now in my world. This gives me a lot of space to expand. Pretty much if I just put a building along this pathway somewhere, it should look good. This is kind of one of the areas I'm talking about that is floating. It really wouldn't take much to fix that, just like a layer of grass or two, but I'll work on that another time. The pathway is fully functional and does look really good, so that's kind of the only things I'm worrying about right now. And I also don't really want to surpass day 500 by too much. Day 502 is already kind of pushing it. But thank you all so much for watching this video, and thank you for watching the first 500 days of this world. I'm gonna have an entire movie probably out this upcoming weekend at some point if you want to kind of like relive this experience, or if you're looking for something to sleep or study to, so be on the lookout for that for sure. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thank you so much one more time for watching, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.